Hello, it's good to see you. Today we are going to be making the most simple thing ever. If you like recipes where you just dump stuff in a bowl and you mix it up and you're done, you're going to love this. And we have the holidays coming up, so I have started looking at like holiday themed recipes, things for Christmas. I've mainly been looking at Christmas because for some reason those recipes just always look like a lot of fun. So today we're gonna make something with the lovely Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. Now a lot of people get really excited whenever these come out, when they become available. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I am not the biggest fan of these. I know people who are just obsessed with these little cakes. I do want to mention up front that I am still recovering from a cold, so I'm still a little bit stuffy. I feel fine. I'm just, you know how sometimes when you get sick and you get that stuffy nose and a cough and it just won't go away for a while? I'm in that stage right now. So a lot of people get really excited when these come out, and I always see posts on social media when people find these things in the store. So I found a recipe where you can use these to make a dip. I'd never heard of using Little Debbie cakes in a dip. It's crazy. And I also like to make things that are easy for people who maybe are just starting out learning how to prepare different types of foods. If you never learn how to cook or bake, don't feel bad, because I didn't either. My mom never taught me how to cook or bake anything. She was always just running me out of the kitchen. So I've tried to learn some things, as I've gone along over the years, and I want to do the same for other people. This would be a really fun, interesting conversation starter if you were going to something and you had to bring a food of some sort. This is super simple. The ingredients are they're really simple. There's almost nothing to it. Now, I haven't made it yet, so we'll see how it tastes. So, watch to the end, so we'll see how it turns out, bearing in mind that I'm not the biggest fan of these things, but I'm going to try it anyway. So if you're not familiar with Little Debbie cakes, now this is Little Debbie here, not to be confused with the Wendy's girl, although they do look a lot alike. It's this girl here. I don't know the story of Little Debbie. I think I read it one time on Wikipedia, but I don't remember it now. Little Debbie is a company that makes all kinds of little snack cakes and just little snacks, like individually wrapped things. This is one that's only out during the holiday season. Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes, and there's Santa. It looks like he's up to no good. Look at him. It looks like he did something. Look at his face. He's smirking. Oh, there's a game. Look, you can play a game on the back. I've never really studied these boxes. You can do a matching game with this one. You can choose these different things and you just match, and you figure out how many you have of each while you eat your little Christmas tree cake. Did you know also there are other offerings from Little Debbie at Christmas time? Now, I was aware of one other one, but there are more that I didn't know about. Now, I found all of these at my local Walmart super center, but you have to kind of look for them. They're not, now Little Debbie has a section in most stores where they have their regular stuff that they have all the time. The holiday stuff is usually going to be somewhere else on a freestanding display. In my Walmart Supercenter, it was in the very back of the store with like milk and eggs and stuff. It was nowhere near the other Little Debbie stuff. I just happened upon it when I went back there to get some milk. We can also get these Christmas tree cakes in chocolate. Look at that. And they have chocolate icing on them. Now, to me, the stuff on the outside of these, it's very waxy. You do not expect some high quality like Belgian chocolate, because this is not it, okay? When you buy a Little Debbie cake, I mean, you know what you're getting. You are not expecting, dinner at the Savoy or anything like that. But it has this filling in here. Look at that. It's a chocolate filling. Let's compare that to these. Now, so the regular ones just have like this white filling. I imagine it's probably something like a Twinkie has. I have to admit, I've never successfully eaten a Twinkie. I took a little taste of one once years ago and I hated it, and I didn't finish it. So I don't really know what it tastes like. But this one has that white filling, and this one has chocolate. Oh, and this one has red stripes and green sugar on it. This one, the chocolate ones, have white stripes and red and green, like big granules of sugar on there, like decorations. So you can also get these in chocolate. Oh, Santa's holding oatmeal cream pies. Look at that. In this one, he's not. He's posing differently in these pictures. Look, here he has two wrapped presents, and here he has the green one, but then he has oatmeal cream pies and other Little Debbie treats in his bag. Santa. Okay. So this is the other one that I was familiar with, and I actually love this one. You can get these Little Debbie Christmas gingerbread cookies, and they're soft. I love these, and they have this white icing on them and red and green sugar. They are so good. You only get, there are 8 in here, but they're small, and I'm going to show you these after I show you all the different types you can get. I'm going to show you what they look like. So here Santa's about to eat an oatmeal cream pie. It's like we're watching in real time what's happening with this stuff. Look, he's about to put it in his mouth. I've never really looked at these. So this is my favorite. This right here, these and the little fig bars, which I can never find, are really the only 2 Little Debbie snacks I like. The oatmeal cream pies are okay. I might eat one every 2 or 3 years or so. I couldn't tell you the last time I had one. I love these right here. They are so good. Oh my gosh. And they are soft. It's not like a hard gingerbread cookie. You can also get Little Debbie Christmas tree brownies. Ooh, look at that. So it's going to be kind of like the regular Little Debbie brownies, but it has this green icing on it and little candy bits that look like ornaments. Now you get 5. You only get 5 in here. I mean, they're a pretty good size, you know, because so they fill the box up. He's about to eat that oatmeal cream pie again. It's the same picture, and he has a glass of milk too. Yeah, it's basically the same as the gingerbread cookies. So you can also get Christmas tree brownies this time of year. I guess they're probably kind of like the cosmic brownies, which also have the little candy bits, but I don't know if the icing tastes any different. I'm not a big fan of the Little Debbie brownies, but my kids love these. And here's one I hadn't seen before. This is the last one. At Christmas time, you can also get cherry cordials, and there are 8 of these snack cakes in here. You see, it's a little sandwich coated in this chocolate-like substance. It's like chocolate wax, basically. I imagine it's probably a lot like a moon pie, and the filling is pink, and it has, I guess it just has a cherry flavor to it. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen these. I don't think they're new. Maybe they are, but I don't normally look at this kind of stuff. But I needed to get some of the Christmas tree cakes to do this recipe. So I thought while I was there, I would show you all the other Christmas stuff you can get from Little Debbie. Love these. Oh my gosh. And these are kind of hard to find, at least around here. I was lucky though. They had them at Walmart. But I had been to a couple of other Walmarts looking for them, and they didn't have them. They had the other stuff, but not these. So whenever they come out, I always try to get a few boxes of them, because I like them and my kids like them, and I'm lucky if I get 1 out of every box, maybe 2. So I did want to mention too, with this recipe, you can use any kind of Little Debbie cakes. I imagine it would be the same. You could use the chocolate ones. You could get, if you couldn't get the Christmas tree cakes, or if you wanted to do it in another time of year, you could use like the zebra cakes. Probably any of the Little Debbie, you know, anything kind of like this would probably work. I mean, I would imagine it would. But yeah, we're just gonna go with these because this is what the recipe calls for. So here we have an example of just the regular yellow cake, Christmas tree cake. You can see here that it does have this red on it, these red stripes, and it has a coating of white icing stuff on it and green sugar. So they come individually wrapped in cellophane like this, right here. So this is the regular one. And then this one, this is the chocolate one right here. So it's it's the same, it just has chocolate on the inside and that chocolate filling and white stripes. And actually it's not sugar, it's sprinkles. It has red and green sprinkles. That's interesting. The yellow cake one has green sugar, like the big granules of sugar. But see, they're the same size. So this is just a chocolate flavor. And then we have, you can see how small the little gingerbread man is. Look at that. We have our little Christmas gingerbread cookie. Now these actually have a little bit of, like some writing on the cellophane. For the Christmas tree cakes, it's just plain. So it's just a little soft gingerbread man. I love these. They are so good. And they have just a little bit of icing, just a little bit of, kind of like on the icing that you see on those iced oatmeal cookies. It's that same kind of stuff, and it's very thin, just a thin layer. You can barely taste it, but it adds just a little bit of sweetness along with a little bit of red and green sugar on top. It adds just a tiny little bit of extra sweetness. Oh, it's so good. I love it. So that's my favorite. I'm not sharing those if I can help it. And then we have the Little Debbie Christmas Tree Brownie, and it comes in this cellophane. It is also labeled. Here, it has this fancy little label on it. And it has green icing and the little candy bits. I think the candy bits are like fake chocolate or something. I don't know. So, if you like the Little Debbie brownies, you might like the Little Debbie Brownie Christmas trees. And then finally, I have the cherry cordial right here. So it's like 2 layers of this cakey type stuff, and it has this chocolate-like substance coating the top and the bottom of the cake, and then inside of it is a little filling that's pink. It doesn't come all the way to the edges though. It just looks like a sad little squashed thing. Kind of like a hockey puck. But I'm sure it's delicious. It does not have writing on it. It's just plain cellophane. That's the cherry cordial. And they might have something like that the rest of the year. I'm not really sure. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about this. This recipe is so simple. Literally. Oh my gosh. All you need for this recipe is 5 of these Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes, and you get 5 in one box. So you just need a whole box of these little Christmas tree cakes like this. You're going to need 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened. I have my Happy Farms cream cheese here. This is from Aldi, and I just got this is just original cream cheese. I don't know if you could substitute low fat or anything. I'm sure it's probably fine. I don't know. But you need a whole block, 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened, and I've had this sitting out for a little bit so it's nice and soft. You also need 16 ounces of Cool Whip. And so this is an 8-ounce container of Cool Whip here, so you're going to need 2 of these. So it's going to be a lot. This is going to be pretty substantial. So you're going to need 16 ounces of Cool Whip, nice and soft. I just went ahead and got the Cool Whip original little whip topping here. So you need that. You're also going to need 1/3 of a cup of milk. It doesn't say what kind, just whatever you have is probably fine. And you need sprinkles. It says Christmas sprinkles, and it's optional. You don't have to add it. You can if you want to. So here are some sprinkles. I bought this at Aldi the other day. This was maybe $3.89 for all of these sprinkles. It is festival holiday sprinkles, and I really wanted it because I was going to do just like red and green sugar in there. Because the picture with the recipe showed that they had red and green sugar, but you can mix and match. You could put any kind in here. I have little red, green, and white discs, red and green balls, red, green, and white sprinkles, little nonpareils, and see each one has a little dispenser at the top. So you can just pour as much or as little as you like. It doesn't give you a quantity. You just do whatever looks good to you, or you could leave them out completely. You can do whatever you want to. I just thought I would go with the red and green sugar for mine. So all you do, this is so easy, all you do is place all of the ingredients in a large mixing bowl. Now it's going to have to be pretty big because you have all that Cool Whip, you have the 5 Christmas tree cakes and the whole block of cream cheese. You dump it all in there and mix it with a handheld mixer until well combined and mostly smooth. There will be some lumps of the cake in the dip, so it's not going to be perfectly smooth. And it says that you should refrigerate it until ready to enjoy, so you can make it ahead of time. Serve cold, topped with the sprinkles with your favorite dippers, and enjoy. And they did have some recommendations for things to dip in there. You could do like pretzel rods. You could dip like the pretzel sticks in there. You could do vanilla wafers. Here I have some Benton's vanilla wafers. These are also from Aldi. Said you could just dip like a little vanilla wafer in there. I bet that'd be really good. And we're going to try all of these. We're going to dip all of this in there. We have vanilla wafers you could use. They also recommended graham crackers. I have some Benton's just regular graham crackers here. Wow, this is going to be so healthy because it has 8 grams of whole grains in it. I'm set for the day, and no high fructose corn syrup. I'm eating so healthy with this dish. It's fabulous. So you can dip graham crackers in it. Cinnamon graham crackers would be good too. They also said you could dip animal crackers in it, and I found a box of Benton's animal crackers at Aldi as well. Look at this. I haven't had animal crackers since I was a kid, so I don't think my kids ever had any. I don't remember. If they did, I didn't eat any of them. I was excited to have a reason to buy animal crackers. So you could even dip little animal crackers in there. Just whatever you want to. You could dip a chocolate chip cookie in there. You could just take a serving spoon and dip it in there and just eat it. I mean, stick a straw in it, like one of those thick, fat straws, you know? You could do that. So, literally all you do is dump everything in a bowl, mix it up, stick it in the refrigerator, and you're done. That's it. I'm looking forward to this. Now, one of the other tips for this recipe was before you put the Little Debbie cakes in there, cut them up. You know, you don't have to cut them super small, but just, cut them up. So we're going to cut them before we put them in there, and then we're going to mix everything together. I have to tell you a little story, though, before we get started. If you follow my vlog channel, you probably heard me tell this story, but you're going to hear it again. My Little Debbie story. When I was a kid, my dad had a friend who lived in the same town where we did, and his friend had a woodworking shop. And if my dad ever needed to do any woodworking, he would go over to his friend's house to do it. And sometimes I would go with him pretty frequently because I hated being stuck at home, and I would use any excuse to go somewhere, so I would go with him. And sometimes I would get tired of waiting around because we'd be there for hours. And so I would go in the house. And this guy's wife was very nice lady, very sweet. But I was a very shy child. I had a very hard time speaking up or really talking to people, and I didn't want to bother anybody. So, I was just very quiet and timid. And so I would go inside to I would knock on the door, and she would let me in. I'm like a stray cat. She would just let me in the house, and she had everywhere in the house, like every flat surface had these dolls. And she liked to knit and crochet, and she would make these big, I don't know if you remember these, they were pretty common back in the 70s and 80s. You get these baby dolls and you make these big fancy dresses for them, and you have the hat and the little parasol. Every flat surface in their house was covered. She had hundreds of these dolls that she had knitted and crocheted outfits for. They were everywhere, and it was kind of creepy because it seemed like no matter where you sat, like if you were in the living room, they were all staring at you. She had them on these big shelves all around, and it's like they were all just looking at you, and it was just really overwhelming. You kind of get used to it, though. And she was a very heavy smoker, so it was just, the but my dad was also a smoker, so I was kind of used to it, but it was always a very strong. I have to let Wally out just a minute. It's okay. Am I talking too much? Sorry. Wally is our neighborhood cat. He's been hanging out in here with me this morning. So dolls everywhere, heavy smoke hanging in the house, and as soon as I would come in, she would ask me, "Do you want something to eat?" And if I was starving, I would say, "Yes, ma'am." You know, I didn't want to bother her. I didn't want to put her out. And she would take me into the kitchen. Now, on top of her refrigerator was every box of Little Debbie cake known to man. It was like a museum of Little Debbie cakes. She had all of them up there. There would probably be 30 to 50 boxes of Little Debbie cakes on top of the refrigerator at any given time. So I've never been a big fan of most of the Little Debbie stuff. I just don't like it. But I didn't want to say that, like I didn't want to hurt her feelings. So she'd say, "You want a Little Debbie cake? Let me get you one." And she would just reach up and grab, and it seemed like every time she reached up, she would grab the same kind every time. She would grab those god-awful raisin cream pies. A lot of people call them fly pies because they have raisins. It's this cake with a filling, and it has these raisins baked into the top of this thing, and it looks like little flies sitting on it. So people call them fly pies. I hate them. I absolutely hate raisin cream pies. I cannot stand them. But I couldn't say that, and so I would just say thank you, and I would eat it. And I hated it, but I didn't want to be rude because, you know, I was always taught, don't be rude. Just, you know, don't be rude. So after a while, I would come in and she would automatically, I know just what you want. Come on in here. I got your favorite. I bought some extra, so make sure I had some. Look, raisin cream pies. I know how much you love them. And then she would give me some to take home. And I ate a lot of raisin cream pies to not be rude. But, it's so funny. So I'm standing there eating this disgusting thing, and even in the kitchen you would have dolls everywhere up, like above the cabinets, like staring at you. They were all angled slightly down, so they were all looking at you. Very surreal. So most of my life I've not been a huge fan of Little Debbie cakes. Not just because of that, but yeah, I don't ever want to eat another raisin cream pie. Fortunately, as I've gotten older, I can speak up more now and say, no thank you, I don't care for them. But you know, when I'm 7, 8 years old, I couldn't do it. That's my Little Debbie story. So all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get our stuff together, and we'll start cutting up some Christmas tree cakes. Okay, we are now ready to mix everything. We're just going to need a big bowl. But first, I have to show you my mixing bowls, and I'm a little bit sad that we don't really need any of these today, but I always like to show them to you. I found these at an antique store. They're not antiques though. They're from Zak, Z-A-K, exclamation point, designs. You can actually find these on Amazon, but don't put them in the microwave. I would not put them in the dishwasher. They're that melamine stuff, so they're not, you know, they don't do well with extremes of hot and cold. But aren't they pretty? They're just little mixing bowls, and I don't put these in the refrigerator or anything, and I hand wash them, and they have held up beautifully. I have used them many, many times. And look at, they have all these pretty speckles in here. The smallest one is kind of a pinkish color, and then you have this pretty blue one. Look at that. Ooh, and they're all speckled like that. They're all kind of unique. They're all a little different. But normally we get to use these. Oh, it matches my nails. Normally we get to use these, but we're not going to be using them today because this recipe, really, you just dump everything in one big bowl, mix it up, and you're done. And the great thing about this recipe too is there won't be a lot of dirty dishes to wash. And we have this pretty light, sort of a yellowish green bowl. And then the largest one is this orange one here. Look at that. Wow. So we're not using these today. I'm actually going to need a bowl even larger than this one to mix everything in. So we'll put these away. We're going to go with this is just a big white plastic bowl, and I also have a hand mixer that I'm going to mix everything with. I'm going to add all of my Cool Whip to this bowl. I have to admit, when I bought my Cool Whip, I didn't buy enough and I had to run out and get some more, and I ended up at Aldi and all they had was Friendly Farms. So half of this is going to be Friendly Farms. I think it's fine. Slightly less expensive chemicals, but chemicals just the same. I think this might work a little better than that spoon. Look how depressing that is. Okay. When I was a kid, my mother never bought stuff like this, and I remember seeing commercials for Cool Whip as a child and really wanting to try it. My mom wouldn't buy stuff like that. Ooh, the Cool Whip is a different consistency. Better quality chemicals than that. Oh, it's very different. Now, the difference may be that the Aldi whip topping, I thawed it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. That may be the difference. Okay, there we have it. I'm also going to add this to it. I should have added it before it softened. That was a tip that someone gave me the last time we used cream cheese. I meant to add it to the bowl before it got soft, but I forgot. But that is a tip I was given, and it's a good one. If you need to add cream cheese to something, if you do it before it softens, it's easier because it's not so squishy. I got lucky though, it just fell out in one big brick. We are going to set this aside because we still have to cut up our trees. And here I present to you our 5 happy little trees. My hands are clean. You can see they have this pretty green sugar bits on here. I don't think it matters how you cut them. We're just gonna, take a knife and we're just gonna cut them into smaller pieces to make it a little easier to mix everything together. Here's what it looks like when you cut it. There. I'm not really worried about it. Lovely little bits of stuff here. Well, I have to say, I can kind of smell these as I cut them. And while I'm not overly fond of the taste, they actually smell pretty good. They just smell like yellow cake. 5 chopped up Christmas trees. And we bring our bowl back out. I'm going to go ahead and add in, we need to add in a teaspoon of vanilla. There's that. And 3/4 of a cup of milk. Or no, I'm sorry, 1/3 of a cup, not 3/4, 1/3 of a cup. And that's just 2% because that's what I had. And now we are going to take our plate of cake bits. See, it has that filling in it. Just going to sort of break them up a little bit. I never thought I would be making a dip with Little Debbie cakes. So I never thought I'd be making cupcakes with pickle juice, but we did. Pickle juice and bourbon. They were surprisingly good. Now, according to the recipe, you're going to take a hand mixer and mix all of this together, including the softened cream cheese in there. I'm going to break that up a little bit before I start mixing it. You want to mix all this together until it is smooth, but you will have some lumps in it from the bits of cake, so it's not going to be perfectly smooth. So it's going to have a little bit of lumpiness to it. So this is what it looks like right now here. So when I come back, I'll show you how this looks after mixing it with a hand mixer. Okay, here it is, all blended together. It looks like a ball of some sort of batter or something. So it's a little loose here. I think what we'll do is we're going to put our little sprinkles on it. Oh, to do this, I beat this on the lowest setting off and on for a total of about 2 to 2.5 minutes. There are still slightly small bits in there of cake. Nothing big though. I mean, nothing really bad. I think we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of the red and green sugar on there. And then we're going to refrigerate that, and then we will see how see if it firms up a little bit, and then we can try it. So let's sprinkle some sugar on top. Here's the red. And the green. I think that's good enough. Nice. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to refrigerate this for a little bit, and then we will come back and take a look at it. Here we have it after about an hour in the refrigerator. It didn't really firm up much. It firmed up just a little bit. I'm thinking this might be better if you can do it maybe like the day before and then just cover it and put it in the refrigerator and just let it kind of firm back up, with the cream cheese and everything in there. But I mean, it's fine. It's totally fine. You could dip anything in there and it's probably not going to break. So I think we're ready to try it. All right, we have now finished the dip. It's cooled a little bit. It's chilled in the refrigerator for a little bit. And we are ready to try it. What? Look at that. I think it's actually very pretty. It's quite festive. And of course you could use different sprinkles or toppings or whatever you want to put on it. Look at that. So let's try it. Now I have some different things to try here. I opened this box of animal crackers. They smell exactly the same as I remember they do. And I took out some animal crackers. Look, I have a line. I got out a little line, and we're going to dip the line in there. And we're going to try this dip. I don't know how much I should get. Look at that. Ooh, we have that red and that green sugar on it. That is really good. That is surprisingly good. It has the fluffiness of the Cool Whip, that nice fluffy feel, but it also has that creaminess from the cream cheese. Oh, that's nice. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't really like those Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. That's good. Now let's try, I have some of my vanilla wafers here. I have a Benton's vanilla wafer. Right here, we're gonna dip the little wafer. These are a lot lighter. They feel like they have more air, or they're more hollow than like the real vanilla wafers. Honestly though, I like some of the cheap vanilla wafers better. Something about the flavor is just, I just like them. You know those vanilla wafers that come in like a cellophane bag and they're like $1? They're kind of good. I like them. Ooh, I got a lot. It was like a little Santa hat. Well, it was for a second there. Let's try it on a vanilla wafer. I like it better on that. The nice thing about this dip is it's not really heavy and it's not super duper sweet. It's not, and you could even leave the sugar off. Like if you don't want to put the sprinkles, you could leave that off. And then the last thing I have to try is some Benton's just regular graham crackers right here. I'm gonna just break these. I don't need a whole, it's like a piece of plywood. I don't need quite that much. There we go. I'm just gonna take a section and try it. Nice. It's very pretty. Look at it. Ooh. I like it with the graham cracker the best. Yeah, that was the best. I don't know what it was. The thickness and the crunchiness of the graham cracker goes perfectly with this dip. This is wonderful. This is so delicious, I tell you. And you can taste the little bits of the Little Debbie Christmas tree cake in there, but it just tastes like little pieces of yellow cake. Like it's just, you have the creaminess and the Cool Whip and little bits of cake. And there's vanilla in it as well and a little bit of milk. Oh my Lord. This is spectacular. This stuff is great. And look how much you get. You get a lot. And the hardest part is just mixing it for a couple of minutes without like just a hand mixer. That was the hardest part. That's all you do. And then I would probably put it in the refrigerator for like a day, like the night before or something. Make it ahead of time. Let it kind of set up a little bit. And yeah, it's good to go. And I had a thought. While this was in the refrigerator, I had a thought. of like if you wanted to use the chocolate Christmas tree cakes. I was thinking, you know, sometimes around the holidays they make this chocolate Cool Whip, or it's some kind of Cool Whip with chocolate in it. You could do this, but with like the chocolate Cool Whip. And if you can't find that, you could get regular Cool Whip and maybe add like some chocolate syrup to it. You could even put in like some mini chocolate chips, like mix some little bitty chocolate chips in there. Oh my gosh, I bet that would be really good. Like if you wanted to do a chocolate version. Wow, I don't know how it would do with chocolate syrup, but I was kind of thinking like if you couldn't find the chocolate Cool Whip stuff, because I don't think they have it all the time, but I see it sometimes around the holidays. But if you can't find that, I almost want to try it. I almost want to do another batch and put some chocolate syrup in it. I'm not going to do it today because I don't have any. I've run out of Cool Whip, but that might be worth a shot if you want to try a chocolate version. And again, you can make this with any of the Little Debbie cakes. You don't have to use Christmas tree cakes. You could do any of them. And this is a wonderful, simple little recipe. It's so easy, very few ingredients. There's really no cleanup. I mean, you're going to have the bowl and the beaters for your mixer, and that's it. And you end up with a beautiful dip that's good with all kinds of stuff. Wow, it's so good. Mmm. This recipe gets my seal of approval, and that again is from someone who doesn't even like the Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. I like them in this. It's really good in this. So that is how you make Little Debbie Christmas tree cake dip, and it's beautiful and festive and really, really good. You know what? This might also be a good filling if you were making a cake. Like you could do a filling in between the layers with stuff like this. You could even use it like a frosting on the cake. I don't know how it would hold up though. But between the layers, I bet that would be really good. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed getting to see this pretty little dip today. And this. It's really good and really simple. So thank you so much for watching and for being here. I really hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.